CJ. Yeah, what we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies, dropping J's up. Players this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Yes, we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline, my team chasing the big range. We ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams. The only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it. Go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood, locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind, in between the lines, full court pressing, finessing, read the signs. What we talking about? 94 feet.
What's up, everybody? This is Dan Thomas with AroundTheAssociation.com, and this is the Dirk Nowitzki edition of the podcast. And it's a two-part series that I recording, over the last couple of days. And really, it's been about, the first one was about Dwayne Wade and the impact Dwayne Wade's had on myself and the league and his retirement, how it hits. And this one's going to be about Dirk Nowitzki. Now, unlike the Dwayne Wade, podcast, there's so many stories I had with Dwayne Wade, just in conversation in general. But Dirk Warner Nowitzki is a little bit different story. Now, my time with Dirk is a little bit different because, the Mavericks have only come to Orlando, twice a year. They come once a year. It's not like I see, like I saw Dwayne twice a year in a lot of cases. I only saw Dirk once a year. And if he wasn't playing, then I really didn't see him that year. So I don't have as many stories about Dirk Nowitzki, but what I do have is the fact of, and know that throughout the history of basketball, at least in my lifetime, there has been a European basketball player that has come close to Dirk Nowitzki. Sorry, Pau Gasol, Mark Gasol, Arvydas Sabonis, Drazen Petrovic, some of the great European players that we've had in this league. None of those guys come, like Divac, who's now about to be a Hall of Fame, none of them come close to Dirk Warner Nowitzki. And as a person, as a man, in my interaction with Dirk Nowitzki, it's always been, he's a very cheerful human being. Like, he's always been a guy that, laughs and jokes, and he's he's very businesslike. Now, he's not being, a guy who's focused on a game, who has laser focus. He's a very, very funny individual. He enjoys the game and he enjoyed it. And it's going to be so weird not to see that 41 jersey pop up in Dallas. In a lot of the same way, Dwayne has been the entire city of Miami when it comes to basketball. No offense to Jason Kidd, no offense to the guys that were previous to him, Rolando Blackman, Derek Harper, and those guys in the 70s and 80s. Dirk Nowitzki represents everything basketball in Dallas, Texas. Everything that is Dallas Mavericks, the first thing you're thinking of is Dirk Nowitzki, especially player wise. There's nobody in this league that is going to be Dirk Nowitzki in Dallas. Everything from the fact that he's 7'1", 7 foot tall, the fact that the guy can literally shoot from anywhere across the court. Another thing is the one-legged jump shot. That is Dirk Nowitzki. It's never the flashiest game in the world, but it was always effective. The guy could shoot over you. And when he was on. And what solidified his legacy as being the greatest European will always go back to the NBA Finals. The very first year, the Dallas Mavericks were going against the Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat had just assembled their version of the Avengers. They added, LeBron James to go along with Chris Bosh and Mike Miller to a team that already had their other pieces. They already had Dwayne Wade. They had been laser focused all year and locked in. And Dirk Nowitzki not just had a moment, he had a finals to remember. And that entire series, now there's nothing with it. A Dallas team wasn't exactly the most talented team in the history of the NBA. But the thing with that Dallas team is that they were just so good that year. It's like they just knew that how important every game was. They played with every bit of emotion. They played with every bit of fire when it comes to winning, and they just weren't going to lose that series. And they won three of the last four. They won the last three games of that series, and really it was Dirk that was the guy in the series. 29 points in Game 5, which got them to that Game 6. That closeout game in Miami where they won the championship that year. But that entire series in the final, Dirk was just everywhere. You can go back to Game 3 where they had won Game 3. They lost Game 3, and Dirk had 34 and 11 in that game. He had 10 rebounds in four of the 6 games in that series, and he was just dominant. It was just so much of a domination that Dirk had in that series. And, it was like I said, it was more about the Miami Heat implosion, but it was more about Dirk Nowitzki just being a leader of a team full of guys that was just trying to win a championship. You had veterans like Jason Kidd, Sean Marion. You had Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler. That team was so veteran-laden. And Dirk was just a guy that was on that team. It was just phenomenal. And what he did for that franchise was amazing. And what they did to the Miami Heat that year was just absolutely phenomenal. But see, even with the championship that year, after the championship that year, Dirk was just a model of consistency in the game. He's had injuries, and as you get older, your body wears down. But on his game, if you go back through his career and all the different accolades in his career, we're talking at least 10 seasons over 20 points a game. He had that stretch where he was just literally scoring 25 points a game. He never was the big guy that grabbed a lot of rebounds. He's had a couple, almost 10 rebound seasons. 5 seasons, he had over 9 rebounds a game. But the fact of you had a guy who always who drew the comparison of Larry Bird, and I think in this realm of basketball, he did do a lot of things Larry Bird did. The shooting, he grabbed rebounds, and he was just a constant dominant threat, all at all points and times. And you have to give, in my eyes, Dirk Nowitzki his props of how great he was as a player. And it's going to be, like I said, once again, it's going to be a shame to see this guy be gone. And my favorite Dirk Nowitzki story, really, I go back and really think of a Dirk story that I've had. Really, I don't have as many Dirk stories, like I said, as the next person does. So I really can't speak to Dirk, as like a personal one-on-one level. So I will always refer back to any time I've spoken to a Dallas media member. Tim McMahon, now he's with ESPN full time, and those guys that cover him, they just always just talk about how respectful he's always been, and he's always been really, really good to them, and really down to earth, and he showed his personality, and he was just such a good guy. And with his retirement on Wednesday night, it just closed out another chapter of what I call the 2000s NBA. And the crazy thing about Dirk is that Dirk was playing it. He's the longest tenured guy in the league. He's been playing since 99 season. I mean, him and Vince Carter both are up there. Dirk's not 40. Carter's older than he is. But you go back to hear the story of Charles Barkley say how he tried to recruit him to Auburn, and the story from ESPN this week came out how he became unknown to a virtual lottery pick in one Nike camp. The duration of one Nike camp, and you just knew when the time he got it together in year 2, they put him and Steve Nash together, and they let this kid loose. And you have to, if anybody, you thank Mark Cuban, for staying with this kid and giving this kid the opportunity to grow and develop into a star, and then put the pieces around him to bring Dallas a championship. And it's kind of the same way I feel about Dwayne not playing in the playoffs. It's just going to feel weird not seeing Dirk, Warren, and Nowitzki, shooting 3-pointers in the playoffs. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. And final game of his career, 20 points and 10 rebounds, against the San Antonio Spurs, team he's played against more than anybody else in his career. So he just kind of, the legacy ended. His final year wasn't exactly, picture perfect, wasn't storybook. There were a lot of DNPs, a lot of nights didn't play very much, but he went out, and I'm just glad that there was not, he decided to go out this year compared to next year. I know Dirk's never been an attention getter. It's never been his style, never been who he was. He never really wanted to chase the fame and the spotlight, but it's going to be great to see Dirk. It's just great to go back and start watching those tapes of Dirk and how much Dirk has changed the game, because look at him now, the guy transitions to him the most. Last night I was watching ESPN on the game, and they kept thinking, who was the next Dirk Nowitzki? And I think a guy they didn't mention was Lauri Markkanen of the Chicago Bulls. He has so much Dirk in him. He's such a good offensive player. He rebounds a little bit, rebounds kind of at the same level, or maybe not even better than Dirk, but he can give you buckets. He can do so many different things in that sharpshooting ability. And I think the next one that's going to follow behind Dirk in that realm would be Lauri Markkanen of the Chicago Bulls. So, I want to know your thoughts and your opinions on Dirk Nowitzki and his career and what he meant to you, and some memories that you have of Dirk, because I have my own. So hit me up on Twitter at Danny DANNY, the number 3 THOMPSON, around the Association Facebook page, which is around the Association.com, as well as on Facebook around the Association. So we have a long weekend coming up before Saturday's first tip-off of the NBA playoffs. So the website is going to have so much podcast content, written content. Is going to be articles for days. The NBA regular season is over. And now for 16 teams, it's one goal. The records are now 0-0. It's playoff time, everybody. So for Dan Thompson on the Association.com, we're going to catch you guys later. And we got some other things to talk about also as well too, involving the website, the podcast, things going forward. So we'll catch you guys later on. Peace.
CJ. Yeah, what we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies dropping J's up. Players this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Guess we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline. My team chasing the big rings, we ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams, the only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it, go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood, locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind, in between the lines, full court pressing, finessing, read the signs. What we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies dropping J's up. Players this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime.